starts now.
Chuck Malamut is next. Stay with us. It's Hurley in the Morning.
The U.S. is watching. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. That's what President Trump just tweeted about the protests in Iran. He wrote, "People are finally acting against the brutal and corrupt regime. All the money President Obama foolishly gave them went into terrorism, and their pockets, the people have little food, big inflation, and no human rights." And those protests turned deadly again overnight. Fox's Simon Owen monitoring live from London.
Dave, after 5 days of protests, Iran's supreme leader making his first comments. Ayatollah Ali Khamenei blaming Iran's enemies, saying they're stirring up problems. State TV says 9 people were killed in the latest unrest last night, bringing the total number of deaths to at least 20. A deputy governor in the capital, Tehran, says 450 protesters have been arrested in that city since Saturday. The protests began as demonstrations against the state of the economy, but they've turned into political rallies. Dave?
Simon, 2018 is off to a smoking start in California. There were long lines at shops now allowed to sell recreational marijuana.
I think there's a whole typology around different types and what it does and what it feels like, and I don't know anything about it, so I'd like to know.
But not all cities are open for business. Pot sales were banned in Fresno and Riverside. LA and San Francisco haven't authorized shops to get state licenses to sell yet. It's another frigid morning, teeth chattering, pipe freezing weather in much of America. 3 more deaths may be blamed on the Arctic air in Wisconsin and North Dakota.
Bitter cold wind chills continue across half the country, from the Great Lakes down into the Gulf Coast and into Florida. The cold air will begin to moderate early this week, but another round of even colder air moves in this weekend. Fox
meteorologist Janice Dean, 50 below, it feels like in parts of Montana, even 4 degrees as far as south as Tuscaloosa, Alabama, where they're celebrating after Alabama beat Clemson to move on to the national championship football game, take on Georgia, which beat Oklahoma. Fox News, fair and balanced.
Investments in securities involve the risk of loss. Ken Fisher, founder and executive chairman of Fisher Investments.
We don't sell annuities. We'll never sell annuities. Most annuities have nosebleed level fees, don't do what the customer thinks they do, have tremendous tax problems, are hard to get out of once you're in them, and are extremely confusing.
Don't let the sound of guaranteed income lead you to financial headache. Call now for your free report, Annuity Insights, and find out why legendary money manager Ken Fisher hates annuities. Call 1-800-885-0909 and see what you might be getting into.
Anything you want to do with annuities, there's a better way to do. If you have more than $500,000 to invest, talk to us.
Get your free report, Annuity Insights, and find out the 9 questions every annuity investor should ask. Call now, 1-800-885-0909. That's 1-800-885-0909.
A 16-year-old remains jailed this morning on charges he massacred his family on New Year's Eve inside their Long Branch home. Questions remain about a motive.
We have no history or anything there. We really are looking at this strictly as an isolated domestic incident. There was no pattern or history that would be indicative of this type of violence.
Monmouth County Prosecutor Christopher Gramiccioni says the teen will be charged as an adult today, but their investigation continues. Family and friends say the teen may have had a form of autism, but knew right from wrong. The sales tax lower in New Jersey for the new year was part of the deal that Governor Christie worked to hike the gas tax. In exchange for a cut in the 7% sales tax, the new rate is 6.625% today. Atlantic City overdue for a win. It might happen in the new year. Several promising developments. 5 of 12 casinos have shut down since 2014. One, the Taj Mahal, is reopening in the summer as the Hard Rock Casino. 2018 could be the year the former Revel opens under new ownership, and the U.S. Supreme Court could grant New Jersey's request to offer legal sports betting. I'm Eric Scott. This is the Town Square News Network.
Are you selling your home? Call Robert Dukansky of RE/MAX First Advantage. He guarantees to sell your home at a price and a deadline you agree to, or he'll buy it. And there's no risk to you because he'll let you out of the contract anytime. The average agent sells about 8 homes per year. Rob's team sold over 600 last year. This is a great time of year to sell your home as the buyers are serious about buying and there's less competition. Leslie Leslie of Roselle Park learned this when she reached out to the Dukansky home selling team and decided to list with them. In less than 3 weeks and with 23 showing requests, she had multiple offers on the property and ended up selling for top dollar. So call the only agent I would call if I needed to sell my home. Call Rob Dukansky today at 855-350-1015. That's 855-350-1015 or online at robsellsnj.com. That's robsellsnj.com and start packing. Are you sick of the Arctic chill yet? Too bad. At least 6 more days of it to come. Highs today mid-20s with a wind chill in the teens. At least we'll see beautiful sunshine overhead. The bitter cold continues tonight with clear skies, lows in the lower teens, the wind chill in the single digits. Mostly to partly sunny tomorrow. Highs make a run for 30, and then a chance for snow develops Thursday morning from a coastal storm system. Looks like just a glancing blow, so for now we just have a few inches of snow right along the coast. It'll get windy on Thursday and then even colder for the rest of the week. I'm meteorologist Dan Zero.
From Harry Hurley Way in the world's playground to the broadcast pioneers of Philadelphia Hall of Fame.
I want to congratulate my friend, Harry Hurley.
You're about to find out why Harry Hurley has been named to the Talkers Magazine list of the 100 most important talk show hosts in the nation. Live from the studios of Town Square Media in Northfield, it's Hurley in the Morning on WPG Talk Radio 104.1.
Thank you very much. Chuck Malamut is here. The following program is paid for and presented by Chuck Malamut, the official financial advisor for the Hurley in the Morning program in his 27th year here as our official financial advisor. Chuck Malamut is the managing director, leads his team, the Malamut Group at Morgan Stanley's Northfield, New Jersey office. Their phone number is 609-383-2010 for all of your financial planning needs. And the following program is presented by Chuck, a financial advisor at Morgan Stanley. The information, views, and opinions expressed on this broadcast are those of Chuck. They do not necessarily reflect those of Morgan Stanley or its affiliates. They are current as of the date of this broadcast and are subject to change without notice. Neither the information provided nor any opinion expressed herein constitutes a solicitation for the purchase or sale of any security. This presentation is for informational purposes only. Morgan Stanley Smith Barney, member SIPC. Well, Chuck, Happy New Year, my friend.
Good morning, Harry. Happy New Year to you, your listeners. Kirk, Happy New Year to you. I love the outerwear. I guess that's a shirt.
This is a jacket.
Jacket.
Yeah.
Eagles logo.
Almost looks like what Peterson wears coaching the team, actually. Yeah, it's nice. So it was really, if you had an opportunity and you weren't listening to PBS or NPR, it was a really great economic tutorial that Kirk put on in the last hour.
It was, and I think I might just go right to the office.
Yeah,
and call it in for the hour. He covered everything I was going to talk about.
Market update.
So, Harry, as we finished out the year, as you would have expected, it was quasi-lackluster, very quiet. Last couple days of the year, no trading volume. What was interesting in the last hour, on Friday, the market did go through a somewhat of a sell-off, down like about 120 points. But again, there was virtually no volume as we got to the end of the year. But you kind of put it in perspective. You think about the worst performing U.S. market happened to be, the S&P mid caps, not the large caps. The mid caps up 14.7. The Russell 2000, the smaller caps up slightly higher than that, but
terrible year.
The S&P up 19 and change, the Dow Jones up 25, and the Nasdaq up 28. So I'm not quite certain, when you kind of put it into perspective, how you're going to duplicate this in 2018. I don't want to be the person throwing cold water on this, but I think we have to be realistic here. And the fact of the matter is, as you think about the comps, the comparison earnings year over year, what happened in 2017 versus 16, the bar was fairly low. Now the bar is raised somewhat substantially year over year
to record levels.
And the question is, how do you get, how do you get from 17 to 18 successfully and continue, on an upward bias in the marketplace? Now, I think that I think you asked Kirk, well, what do you think about the market? What happens? Kirk, I think you were. Did you put a number to it as far as what? No,
He did not.
I mean, I think, Harry, we're going to stick with that.
Kirk did say he saw it going
high
up.
single digit, low double digit number. So I'm going to put it like 8 to 12 is sort of my guess.
Coming off of this year, that would be spectacular.
But remembering this is not going to be easy, because the one thing that we always have talked about, and it did not happen at all in 2017, and that's geopolitical risks. And for the lack of not understanding why, I just don't understand why, all these events that have happened, the market never took hold. I mean,
the age
market
of Trump is why, the cult of personality. Think about it. There's no other explanation other than the sheer personality of the president, because there were geopolitical events that always would have impacted the markets, but they were impervious this year.
I'm not going to necessarily agree with you on that one. Sorry, you're not going to take me down that road.
Well,
but
I'm allowed to be right, though.
You're allowed to be partially right.
I think almost everybody listening, liberal and Republican, agrees with that comment. First of all, if something has never happened before, it was like when I brought up last week, Chuck, if we were continuing in the prior economics, Obamonomics, whatever you want to call them, would there have been $1,000 bonuses to hundreds of thousands of people? Would companies be voluntarily raising their minimum wage from $12 to $15? Would there be all these things going on? The answer is, I think. I
agree. Maybe I'm looking. I won't disagree with you on that point, Harry. But what I think that when I'm talking about geopolitical risks, I'm talking. Let me finish for a second.
Fat Boy Un having nukes would have always affected our markets in any other year. True or false?
True.
Okay, but it didn't this year. So what was the only difference?
Well, Harry, I don't know what the only difference is, because
I do.
Well, I think it's more than who was the president at this point in time. I just think that the world has shifted, and for any of a number of reasons, and it's not just the growth that we saw here domestically. The fact of the matter is that the non-U.S. markets, MSCI emerging markets, the commodity-driven markets, actually were up over 33%. The MSCI EFA was stronger than the U.S. domestic markets. I'm just thinking that there were a number of things that happened out there that traditionally set the market the wrong way. My concern is that, maybe 2017 was the aberration of the rule, and the fact of the matter is, I think we have to be concerned about these geopolitical risks. That's the point I'm trying to make.
I would say this. I agree with a lot of that, but I still agree with myself. I would say this. No, listen, I would say this, though. If we went to war this year, the Trump inoculation would not hold. The markets would be affected by an actual war. But I do – let me finish. I let you finish. I do believe that the first citizen president who has rewritten so many of the rules also benefited from the geopolitical things that took place not affecting our economy the way it always had before.
I guess, Harry, the point I was trying to make, and we're going to probably disagree on this, because we are disagreeing on this.
If Kirk was here, he would agree with me. I know that.
Kirk is standing there.
He'd be shaking his head up
well,
and down.
I don't know.
Yes. Look to your right, Chuck.
He's shaking. I mean, I guess that makes Baskin and Robbins, and the fact you can like 32 different flavors.
You like pralines and cream? You're allowed to, Chuck.
No, it's okay. That's actually a good flavor. I do like that. I know. But Harry, I think the concern that I was trying to make is the fact that
did you hear I said pinky up? Did you hear it? Come on, Chuck.
Harry,
go ahead.
No, you see, now this is totally unfair.
Come on.
You guys are ganging up on me.
He didn't say words.
Your listeners are trying to get information.
All right.
And I
apologize in the new year.
Thank you, because you are on what is your 2018?
Year of new beginnings.
So let me see. That lasted 2 hours and 14 minutes.
No.
Congratulations, Harry.
There were many stipulations within my year of new beginnings. When there's something that's worth fighting for, you fight for it.
2 hours and 14, right, Kirk? 2 hours and 14 minutes.
No. That didn't mean there would not be any disagreements. in 2018. Come on,
Harry. I came in here. I make a comment. You throw out a statement. It wasn't even
which was beautiful.
It wasn't even a question, and like you just totally blasted me because I didn't agree with you.
I didn't blast you.
My point that I was trying to make, President Trump, whatever it may be, the reason we didn't have geopolitical risks is in 17 is a concern as we get into 18. I can't imagine we're going to go an entire year like we did this year and not have an issue. That's the point I was trying to make. And the markets, you have to remember, are very concerned about that. The fact of the matter is the markets in 2017 traded on fundamentals. They traded on earnings improvements. You know, as we measure quarter over quarter, as we get into 18 versus 17, the bar is going to raise that much higher.
Right.
And the point I was trying to make is, you said, well, where do you think we go? I said, high single digits, low double digits.
And I said that would be tremendous. And that's, to me, tremendous based on where the starting point is. But let me go back to the other point. You said markets are very concerned about these things. No, they haven't been.
They weren't in 2017.
Right.
That's correct. And again, I think what we have to be conscious of the fact was this the aberration to the rule, or as we get into 18, is everything that happens get deflected again? Or ignored is a better word. It's the point I was trying to make.
I think that geopolitical threats will ultimately affect markets in our future when they rise to a certain level that they haven't yet.
I agree with you. But I think that
the levels that they rose to in 2017 in any other year of our entire country's existence were high enough that they would have impacted. So we don't know what that mark is.
Okay.
Do you agree with that?
Partially, yes. I think that, as I said, we're gonna disagree with it as the outcome or the reason why. And I think a lot of it has to do with, as I said a few minutes ago, is that your earnings, non-U.S., were substantially higher year over year, and that did in fact drive these markets not only domestically but internationally as well.
See, I just don't think there was some epiphany in 2017 that rewrote all the rules. There was only one major change.
Well, I think there was more than one change, and we'll leave it at that.
Okay, fair enough. First break, 17 minutes past the hour. We continue with Chuck Malamut, the official financial advisor for the Hurley in the Morning program. We'll be back in just a few minutes. Don't go away.
Fall in love with your home all over again. Seashore Construction for roofing, siding, decks, and so much more. Seashore Construction. No job is too big or small. Seashore Construction. So come and meet the team. We make it easy for you to see. To turn your house into the home of your dreams. Seashore Construction. Fall in love with your home all over again. Seashore Construction.
Since the cold weather is here and you're spending more time at home, you're probably noticing all the things that need to be fixed on your home. Are you waiting for a tax return to get started? No need to. Seashore is now offering quick and easy financing. Seashore Construction, treating structural dysfunctions since 1980. Call them today, 609-645-2192, or visit seashoreconstruction.net. Roofing, siding, windows, and so much more.
Fall in love with your home all over again. Seashore Construction.
It's Happy Honda Day sales event at Rossi Honda. Hi, I'm Ron Rossi, and you can lease an all-new redesigned 2018 Accord LX sedan for only $209 per month. This clearance sales event ends January 2nd. Don't delay. Happy Honda Days from your friends at Rossi Honda. We treat you better, period, for less on Delsey Drive in Vineland. Shop 24/7 at rossihonda.com.
$29.95 down, tax tag, stock fees extra, 36-month lease, 12,000 miles per year to qualified buyers. See dealer for details.
If you ever want to buy a house or a car, you're going to want to know your credit score. If there's a mistake on your credit report, you could pay more in interest rates and fees than you have to. Where can you go online to quickly get your credit score and credit report for free? CreditKarma.com/radio. Check it whenever you like. It's free and there's no catch. Don't get an unwanted surprise about your credit score. Go to creditkarma.com/radio. That's creditkarma.com/radio.
This is the story of the shaving company called Harry's. In an epic battle of David versus Goliath. In the early 1980s, a child was born. Two of them, actually. Their names were Jeff and Andy. Time went by, they developed facial hair, and one day, something happened. Andy got ripped off buying overpriced razors. So they decided to start their own shaving company and fix shaving once and for all. They hired the best designers. They bought a 95-year-old German blade factory. And they started selling high-quality razors online with no upcharging direct to customers. How did the overpriced razor company respond? By threatening to sue their pants off. Don't worry, Jeff and Andy have plenty of pants and a relentless dream to give all guys a great shave at a great price.
Try Harry's free. They'll send you a razor with 5 German blades, foaming shave gel, and even a travel blade cover when you sign up. Just cover shipping. Plus, get a free post-shave balm at checkout with code 5959. That's harrys.com, code 5959 to get your free trial set.
Hey, wake up with Harry Hurley and drive home with me, Sean Hannity, 3 to 6. It's all happening here on WPG Talk Radio 104.1.
We are back 20 minutes past the hour. Chuck Malamut is here for all of your financial planning needs. Turn to Chuck. And the Malamut Group, 609-383-2010, 609-383-2010. Chuck, in the last hour, we talked about real estate. Kirk actually brought up real estate. How big a role in 2018 do you think real estate is going to play?
Well, Harry, I think as Kirk was absolutely correct. Housing starts as good as they are, good as they were. They could be better. They should be better. And as a result of that, I think that housing will in fact improve year over year. And again, housing is very, very intricate with respect to the economy. One of the things that I think Kirk said, GDP first quarter to high 2s, and then you get into the upper 3s as you get through the rest of the year. We seem to agree with that. We think we'll be at a nominal GDP, believe it or not, at 5% for the first time in over a decade. So that's, but it's not going.
Is that later in the year?
That's later in the year. We're not going to we're not going to get there, in Q1. That's for sure.
Chuck, here's an issue that Kirk and I were fuzzy on, and we talked about the Fed and its role in 2018. Are there a number of increases that we should expect in 2018?
I'm sorry, number of increases?
A number of rate increases, Fed rate increases in 2018?
The guesstimate is 2 to 3 as we get through this year. And Kirk, I'll agree with you. See, you and I agree on a lot of things. Harry and I might not agree on a lot of things.
But I'm agreeing on a lot here.
But we seem to think that might not necessarily be necessary at this point in time. The big concern, and I think we really need to think about the 10-year. I mean, the 10-year right now is about 241, in that range. When we started 2017, it was at a 246, I believe. We moved within the course of the year, we moved 5 basis points. But most listeners really are more tuned to the stock market, less to the bond market, and really what leads is the bond market or the stock market. But think about when this tax reform and Jobs Act, was signed. The 10-year got close to 3 and then sort of backed off very, very quickly. So we think that 10-year is going to move a little bit higher, high enough that your yield curve does not become inverted, high enough where, an inverted yield curve ultimately is destiny for what? Destiny for a potential recession. So we don't, and that's by historical standards. But
are there any forecasts about a recession in 2018?
There's no discussion.
Which means the longest period in American history without a recession goes on another year.
Yeah, you think about it. We have had 9 consecutive years in an up market, and that was primarily with your large caps. Large caps outperformed all asset classes, all domestic asset classes, U.S. meaning mid caps and small caps. And the fact of the matter is that I think most of your listeners are probably invested in large caps in all likelihood. The names that you can recognize and that you get familiar with. So chances are, if you took stock and, the nice thing about when you turn the page in the beginning of the year, it gives you an opportunity to reflect on what your accomplishments were in the prior year and where you think we're going to go in 2018. And it's always a good time, since you have the day off usually, to sit back and take a look, how, what has happened to you financially. Are you being able to meet your goals? Are you resetting your goals? Is your life changing? And as a result of that, if you haven't done it, you really should do it, because the year will go by very, very quickly, and then you'll look back in the mirror and say, how come I did not do this?
Chuck, do you sense that with just everything, the year was just so great, everybody was happy, then the holidays come, and you have like a few days, or if you were thinking about a few weeks before, to look at what your gains were going to be, to see if there was anything you could do. I'm just guessing as a layperson that a lot of people did nothing, and they're going to be dealing with a lot of gains in terms of taxes.
I think you're absolutely correct about that. If you paid attention, chances are you had the ability to offset some, but not all, in all likelihood. Because what we found this year is that, as I mentioned to you before, large caps had the best performance, compared to mid and small, and especially if you own mutual funds that own large cap and large cap growth, which was the best, performer. Some significant gains were paid out. And if you had losses, you probably, within your portfolio, you should have taken that opportunity to do some offsets, because April's going to show up here very, very quickly. Mm-hmm. And your accountant, or if you do it yourself, you're going to look yourself in the mirror and say, oh, my goodness, think about what you could have saved if you did the offsets. But I will tell you, on the flip side of the coin, there weren't a lot of losses to take.
Correct. Now, Chuck, in terms of 2018, sort of a sobering assessment, when you have a year like 2017, which is unprecedented in not just our lifetime, but the history of investing. There's not been a year like this year. Do you have to then tamp down your expectations for the next year, just to be realistic?
Well, I think absolutely, because I don't think any time in our history we've had the kind of years that we've had over the last 3 or 4. And you think about it from 2009, March of 2009, when the S&P was at that awful 666, and everybody was basically jumping at that point in time. And now take a look at where you are. Best case scenario, our strategist last year at this time thought, within the 12 to 18 months, the S&P could be approaching 3,000. And it's, you think about it, we're not too far from there at this point in time.
No, not at all. What else about either 2017 year in review or the 2018 outlook?
Well, we covered 7. I think we did a pretty good job last week of covering 17. So as far as 18, we talked a little bit about GDP already, where we think that's going to go. Unemployment, this should come as no surprise. You'd probably be at the lowest level that we've ever seen. And
aren't we basically at 100% employment right now?
I think we are. What happens is you'll end up with some wage growth, which ultimately can be considered inflationary. And the key is, with the change with the tax law that we're going to see in paychecks starting in February, I think the consumers are going to feel, for the most part, a lot better about where they stand financially, and will, in fact, I think, get that money back into the economy relatively quickly. What do we always say? $1 earned turns into 5, within the local economy. And the results of all of that are great nationally speaking. But I think you mentioned it, Harry, in the last hour with one of your callers, was the $10,000 SALT deduction. And
I think, Chuck, this is a very good point of emphasis that you've done a great job on your show highlighting, because most people think this is $10,000 for just your real estate deduction. It's not. It's that $10,000 is going to get gobbled up.
The concern here's what the concern we should all have is the fact. Some of your listeners were astute enough, if they were not did not fall in AMT, or don't think they're going to be in AMT in 17, went down and prepaid property taxes. The great debate is now, and the IRS came out at the 11th hour and said you can only pay prepaid property taxes for where you have bills.
Right.
For, in this case, New Jersey, Q1, Q2.
So if you prepay more than that, then municipalities are going to be refunding. It's a mess.
No. I think they're going to hold. I mean, when you can,
but
you can
the benefit,
well, no, but you have to pay the property taxes anyway. So it's a matter of you front end loaded.
But they prepaid for a benefit, though.
Well, they prepaid for a benefit, but Harry, I think it's a lot easier to pay the property tax than to get the property taxes back.
Yeah.
I mean, there's sort of an act of Congress within these local municipalities to apply for a refund is probably more work than worth the effort.
But the reason I brought up what I did, part of what the IRS was sort of telegraphing was that municipalities would be ordered to refund the advance payments.
I didn't read that, but you're probably right about that. But that could be an accounting nightmare.
Do you think many people actually took advantage and prepaid?
I think they did. I mean, especially if you look up in Bergen County, Passaic County, if you look at the counties surrounding the city of New York, I think a lot of people did prepay, but.
So you benefit for one half or 1 year, though?
Yeah, one half. But here's the problem. February, we're going to get a tax. We're going to see in our paychecks. The accounting software is not out there, certainly, and it's not updated because they're not going to update. They're not going to update 18 until you're done with 17. I think the big fears that all of us should have, if you live in these higher tax states, New York, California, Illinois, New Jersey, Massachusetts, is when you go to file your return in 18, you're probably going to be faced with a pretty good tax bill that you maybe weren't expecting, because you initially on the front end you get the money, you get more of your paycheck starting in February. But I think in states like ours, you're going to pay for that when you file your return in April of 2019
with
for 2018
that you've lost
for the $10,000 SALT.
Yeah. Let's take our final time out. We'll come back. One more power segment straight ahead. You're listening to Chuck Malamut, the official financial advisor for the Hurley in the Morning program. Chuck is the managing director of his group, the Malamut Group at Morgan Stanley's Northfield, New Jersey office. 609-383-2010 is the phone number for all of your financial planning needs.
WPG Talk Radio 104.1 is now available on Amazon devices with Alexa. From Hurley in the Morning to the local news, traffic, and weather that you depend on, WPG is now available anytime on your Echo, Echo Dot, or any other Alexa-enabled device. We'll help you set up Alexa at WPGTalkRadio.com. Then once you're ready, simply say,
Alexa, WPG.
And you'll be listening to South Jersey's talk station, WPG Talk Radio 104.1.
Join Mark Patrick Hypnosis and stop smoking now without cravings, irritability, weight gain, or your money back.
I used to smoke 1 to 2 packs of cigarette a day. I have to tell you, I had no cravings.
No weight gain, no problem. I quit in one night. I don't smoke. Take it from me, it works.
I recommend it to everyone.
I feel fantastic.
Only $49.99 guaranteed. Because don't just cut down, but stop smoking now once and for all. In addition, lose all the weight you want 100% guaranteed with Mark Patrick Hypnosis. Destroy unwanted cravings, late-day eating binges, boredom eating, and stress eating. Join the over 500,000 others who have attended and lost weight the Mark Patrick way. Seminars are Sunday, January 21st at the Absecon Holiday Inn Express and Suites Hotel. Weight loss seminar 11 to 1. Stop smoking seminar 2 to 4. And Monday, January 22nd at the Vineland Wingate by Wyndham Hotel. Weight loss seminar 5:30 to 7:30. Stop smoking seminar 8 to 10. More information at markpatrickseminars.com. That's markpatrickseminars.com.
You've been lied to. Lied to by corrupt Washington politicians and the Wall Street propaganda machine. Hi, I'm Inc. magazine best-selling author Brett Kitchen, and I want to give you a free copy of my brand new book, Wealth Beyond Wall Street, because we all know another market crash could be right around the corner. After losing 35% in my IRA in the crash years ago, I said enough, and since then I discovered a way to grow money potentially double digits, reduce taxes dramatically, and also have my money protected when the next stock market crash hits. When the next market crash hits, you lose nothing. Call Wealth Beyond Wall Street now to get your free copy and talk with a specialist to discover this little-known strategy to get potential double-digit growth during good years and never lose when the next stock market crash hits, all while building a tax-advantaged retirement. Call 1-800-920-8484 to discover this asset that people like Walt Disney and JCPenney use to grow wealthy. Plus, get one of just 97 free books left. We even cover shipping and handling, no credit card required. Call 800-920-8484. 1-800-920-8484. That's 1-800-920-8484.
Hi, it's Mark Levin. Join me at 6 this evening. Now back to the Mayor of the Morning, Harry Hurley, on WPG Talk Radio 104.1, South Jersey's talk station.
Hey, thanks very much. 34 minutes past the hour. Chuck Malamut is here, our official financial advisor for the Hurley in the Morning program. For all of your financial planning needs, turn to Chuck. And Chuck, I really believe this is a year where people that, if last year felt like you could do no wrong, this is a year that I think bears watching, because when you're coming, it's if we gave a sports analogy where somebody wins the Triple Crown one year, the next season, you start all over again. This is a whole different, year. You're coming off of the most extraordinary, 5,000 points on the Dow for the first time in the history of the Dow Jones Industrial Average, and then the percentage increases that you talked about, well into the 20 percentile and above. This not only is the scorecard where you're starting again, but as you mentioned earlier, and there's probably more agreement than it sounded like earlier, there will be a whole set of new challenges in 2018.
Harry, I think,
and an election year.
In an election year, and I'm going to go to the last prediction, which is not something that's I don't think anybody's going to be surprised about, is the fact that Republicans potentially lose the House, retain the Senate, and further distance themselves from the president as a result of everything that has transpired and everything that potentially could transpire as we get through this year.
Now, what would happen if Republicans pick up seats in the Senate and maintain the House, and the exact opposite of what you just said takes place? Then it's a whole different.
It's different. It's a different set of characters for sure. Different script would be rewritten.
Well, how about this, Chuck? I'll give you. Remember, I said there could be geopolitical things that do rise, like war with North Korea. Boom. No doubt that would be a geopolitical situation that would be absolutely felt. If Democrats win the House, I guarantee you 100% President Donald Trump will be impeached. Would that be a geopolitical thing that would shutter markets, or would it be built in? The votes aren't there in the Senate because you're not going to get 2/3 of the Senate. So therefore, it's not as big a deal as it would sound. But these are some of the geopolitical things that could happen.
Yeah, I think that I don't want to say that's not going to be a big deal, Harry, but I think what would be a bigger deal is that if something happened, outside the U.S., if there was some, ISIS gets to the point where they become a more of a force to reckon with. Not that they're a force not to reckon with now, but that to me is the biggest concern that I have. And
all right, let me bring one more home, because I don't dispute that. I mean, that would be enormously bad, and I pray every day that doesn't happen, and that this has just been a lot of bluster, and it's just in everybody's best interest to not get stupid and rise it to that level. What about this geopolitical threat? Special Counsel Robert Mueller, and this whole year, he'll probably take all of it to do who knows what. There's a geopolitical bombshell, potentially.
I think more so than the potential impeachment of the president, because you think about everything that happened with Bill Clinton, and the market, and I think in spite of that, still did relatively well.
Yeah.
So I think it's sort of rewriting the playbook at that point in time.
Yeah, in his case, though, it was that sort of default setting that I talked about a little while ago. He was never going to be removed from office, so they got away with making it a political event that never had a chance really to remove him. But if Robert Mueller came up with, say, quote-unquote, the goods, and this touched either very close or right to the president, that's way different.
It is. I think it's way different. I agree. Harry, I'll agree with you on that one.
Man, mark the clock. 39 minutes past the hour. Chuck, 2018, when you come off of like an MVP season, I call it the Triple Crown MVP season, like Mickey Mantle. I think it was 1956, and he wrote a book, My Favorite Year. And who wouldn't say it's their favorite year when everything just goes right? How does that make you feel on January 2nd of the next year?
Well, Harry, I think if you're going to sleep with one eye open in 2017, I think you need to definitely sleep with one eye open, maybe two eyes open in 2018. And I think from a comparison year over year, there's a couple of things we've got to look at. So, in 2017, look at the economy. So as we got into 17, we definitely accelerated from 2016. So as we get into 18, we still should have a good economy, but potentially could slow down a little bit as we get into 19. Inflation, in 2017, low, steady inflation, and yields commiserate with that. But what we think in 18, we will get some inflation, and we talked about that coming a lot potentially from wage growth, and as a result of that, potentially higher interest rates.
It's hard to believe 27th year we started today, Chuck, together, and I always have remarked during critical election years how the economy always seems to do well because the party that has power seems to make sure that things go well. This is one of the most consequential midterm elections, not only in our lifetime, but in history, because clearly the balance of power in both houses. I love making predictions. I need more of this year to unfold because I'm not going to be surprised if Republicans keep both houses, if they split, or if Democrats swept both. It would be unlikely because they have so many Senate seats that they have to defend, but you don't know what the atmosphere is going to be. I have another theory that I floated with Kirk, Chuck, and that is as follows. A lot of the things that would be positive about the tax cuts and the Jobs Act won't be felt by the time people vote. Sure, if your net pay used to be $1,000 a week and now it's $1,100, you're going to see that. But you won't have filed any taxes in the new setup. So if I go back, I'm a big believer that passes prologue. During the Reagan tax cuts, Republicans got skunked in the election that took place at exactly the time that this one would be taking place.
Correct. So some of the other...
So you think I did something great? Well, how's this happen? I did something great. I gave the American people more money in their pocket. I gave corporations a break. This one rate used to be like 90% or something. It's down to a more manageable rate, much more manageable, and still so what that tells me, the electorate hadn't yet felt it.
So I think a lot of it. So Harry, let's kind of push that into a couple other things that happened in 17. So we talked about earnings, and earnings, basically far exceeded expectations as we got into 17. As we get into 18, this is, and you and Kirk mentioned this, stock buybacks potentially, higher wages, but
bonuses.
Earnings expectations, I'm going to say corporate earnings are going to probably should meet expectations, but
top line and bottom line?
But I don't think they're going to blow through them like they did in 2017.
Well, I totally agree because it's tough to.
And then the point well taken. Okay, so let's think about 17 for a second in the tax cut. So investors were waiting, for the effects of the tax cuts. And as you know, as we got to the end of the year, several large corporations, either announced bonuses, year-end bonuses, or an increase in hourly wages. So we're going to understand that as we get into 18. What are the true impacts with respect to these tax cuts? And And that takes us to kind of the last point. So we had we had an incredible year. I think 71 times that we made new highs. Here's what's interesting, and don't take this to the bank, but I saw the other day the last intraday high that we had was back on December 18th. So granted,
it was the end of the year.
You had end of year, you had holidays, so I think you have to take that with a grain of salt. But I think
that was like the Rondé Barber holding the Eagles accountable for the fact they were playing no one, they treated it like it was like a primetime lineup. I think you get a pass at the end of the year.
Yeah, so we envision a decent stock market moving up, but I don't think, Harry, it's going to move up, like it did last year. I think, when was the last time we had a correction? It seems like a long time.
Yeah.
And one of the predictions.
But you don't even expect that this year.
No, we do.
Oh,
I think
okay.
Sort of built into this, you're probably going to see a correction in the 5% area. But it's a matter of, nobody knows when and nobody knows for how long.
But then ultimately, the end of the day, you're saying 8 to 12%.
We think at the end of the day, you're going to have positive returns in the equity markets, and it's going to be. I'm sensing that domestically we might have better markets than we have had internationally, but that's more of a gut guess, Harry, than based on any facts per se.
Chuck, with all the agreeing we did this hour, this is all part of my Year of New Beginnings tour. It was just fantastic. I loved it from beginning to end, Chuck.
So, Harry, let's see. About 8, I marked this on my calendar, so 8/16 on January 2nd,
You've misinterpreted my Year of New Beginnings.
But then
I'm going to share it again next.
But then you got
the audience will have context.
You got it back on track at about 8:35 to 8:38. So we'll leave as friends.
So, in other words, if I agree with you, it's back on track. If I disagree with you, we're off the rails. Just tell me the rules. I'll play by them.
No, Harry, I just think that we didn't quite
I was very strong in my
agree
analysis.
on the reasons as to why certain things happen.
Well, just one thing.
Yeah, but
I could feel I was getting energy from everybody from Kirk Conover to the chief of police and Ventnor. You should have felt the energy I was getting. It was fantastic.
Your phone was blowing up.
Oh,
I was just getting demolished by you.
No, you were not getting demolished. We were just having a very cordial split decision.
So, Harry, listen. Seriously speaking,
yes.
I want you and your listeners and your family to have a great, prosperous, and healthy New Year.
Thank you.
As we become older, unfortunately, when we look at the sort of the things that we look forward to in the beginning of the year, when we sort of reset expectations, and that's I think what happens is it's more good health than anything else.
That's first.
So without good health, nothing else really matters.
It's true.
So having said that, I will see you next week.
Look forward to it, Chuck. Thank you for a great visit. Our first visit in the brand new year. Chuck Malamut, for all of your financial planning needs, please tell Chuck that I sent you. Early in the morning, 609-383-2010 for all of your financial planning needs. If you missed it at about 6:45 this morning, I will share with everyone in its totality my focus, my theme. I think it's worth a listen. My theme for 2018 next, and then Mayor Kane. Oh, Chuck, Eagles, are they going to win they're going to get a bye. Are they going to win their first playoff game against either New Orleans, Atlanta, or Carolina Panthers, or are they going to go out? This is a very perilous first game. I feel it.
Harry,
any of those teams could beat the Eagles,
and again,
they could beat any of those teams.
And again, Sunday's game did not have much of an indication as to the future of the team.
No.
I was sort of expecting Foles to play a little bit longer to get in sync, to get in rhythm, because he was not.
I think they didn't want him to get hurt.
I agree.
Played a quarter.
You have
if the guy catches the ball, on that first drive. It might have been the first drive.
The outcome could have been different.
Yeah, but still, it was being 14-2 or 13-3 and playing your six starters that you deactivated not playing many starters after the first quarter. That game doesn't concern me, but you put the whole body of work of Nick Foles the previous few weeks before that, and you really don't know what you have.
Yeah, so I mean, you think about the Oakland game, not a good game.
No. Giants game, he played very well. And it was sort of the defense.
He played decent.
No, he played very well.
The Rams game where he came in, he played well. So, but I think you have to look at the fact that who's going to come to Philadelphia.
You think it's more likely the Eagles will lose, and then the worst thing of all, when they're not playing great. And now, if you think about it, most of the starters won't have played for 2 weeks.
Some even 3.
3.
Yeah.
Yeah, with the bye.
Yeah, I think I think Charles can probably discuss it a lot. He's a lot more qualified to discuss it than I am. But so you have Atlanta traveling to the Rams this week, so they'll probably. I mean, again, I don't want to guesstimate, but I'm thinking they could probably get eliminated.
Yeah, they could.
Then you have Carolina traveling to New Orleans. So
that could go either way, but I would give New Orleans at home slight edge in that one. But they played very close the last time they played.
So who ends up? So what happens is, I think New Orleans would be traveling to Philadelphia.
Bad first game.
What happens is, I think you want a dome team coming. I think that's I think what really scared me, and the fact that they needed to get done, is that Seattle lost, and eliminated themselves from the playoffs.
That was always going to be a bad matchup for the Eagles.
That would not have been good.
I think they would have lost.
I agree.
Out of the bat.
Yep.
To like a 9-7 team. Chuck, great analysis. We'll see you next week.
See you, Harry.
My year of new beginnings. Next.
Health Update with Robin Stoloff, brought to you by Curexa Specialty Compounding Pharmacy and Newkirk Family Veterinarians.
Quitting smoking tops many New Year's resolution lists, and it is one of the biggest steps you could ever take to improve your health. Quitting isn't easy, but 50 million ex-smokers in the United States are proof that it's achievable. Here's a few tips from the American Lung Association. First, remember, it's never too late to quit. Quitting smoking at any age will enhance the length and quality of your life. Second, you don't have to quit alone. The first 7 to 10 days of a quit attempt are the toughest, and enlisting the support of family and friends can help. And talk with your doctor about FDA-approved medications for quitting. And finally, join a proven program that can offer support and information. The American Lung Association's Freedom from Smoking can be accessed at lung.org and is ranked as one of the most effective methods of quitting.
Health Update with Robin Stoloff, brought to you by Curexa, when your medication needs to be as special as you. And Newkirk Family Vets, serving South Jersey pets for over 3 decades.
It's Happy Honda Days sales event at Rossi Honda. Hi, I'm Ron Rossi, and you can lease an all-new 2018 Civic LX sedan for only $129 a month. This clearance event ends January 2nd. Don't delay. Happy Honda Days from your friends at Rossi Honda. We treat you better, period, for less, on Delsey Drive in Vineland. Shop 24/7 at RossiHonda.com.
$29.95 down, tax tags, doc fees extra, 36-month lease, 12,000 miles per year to qualified buyers. See dealer for details.
Hello, I'm Anthony Marchetta, Executive Director of the New Jersey Housing and Mortgage Finance Agency. Ready to own your own home but need help with your down payment and closing costs? Take advantage of our forgivable loan programs today and make your dream of homeownership in New Jersey a reality. So get started today by visiting our website at theroadhomenj.com. That's theroadhomenj.com.
This message sponsored by the New Jersey Housing and Mortgage Finance Agency, the New Jersey Broadcasters Association, and this station.
This is the story of the shaving company called Harry's. In an epic battle of David versus Goliath. In the early 1980s, a child was born. 2 of them, actually. Their names were Jeff and Andy. Time went by, they developed facial hair, and one day, something happened. Andy got ripped off buying overpriced razors. So they decided to start their own shaving company and fix shaving once and for all. They hired the best designers. They bought a 95-year-old German blade factory. And they started selling high-quality razors online with no upcharging, direct to customers. How did the overpriced razor company respond? By threatening to sue their pants off. Don't worry, Jeff and Andy have plenty of pants and a relentless dream to give all guys a great shave at a great price.
Try Harry's free. They'll send you a razor with 5 German blades, foaming shave gel, and even a travel blade cover when you sign up. Just cover shipping. Plus, get a free post-shave balm at checkout with code 5959. That's harrys.com, code 5959. to get your free trial set.
If you're drowning in IRS debt and can't afford to pay, then you need to take advantage of special IRS tax programs that are available and free yourself from IRS collection efforts once and for all. Due to the financial hardship consumers are facing throughout the country, the Internal Revenue Service has made it easier to settle delinquent tax problems. An open phone line has been established by Community Tax for consumers to call and see if they qualify. Take down this number or store it in your cell phone, but call the Community Tax Helpline at 800-283-5948. If you owe back taxes to the IRS and cannot afford to pay them back, or even if you have years of unfiled tax returns, there's no need to fear anymore. But you have to call the Community Tax Helpline today at 800-283-5948 for the help that you need. Don't take on the IRS alone. They can attack your wages, savings, pension, home, and even your Social Security check. Call 800-283-5948 for your free consultation and to see if you qualify. That's 800-283-5948.
Hi, it's Mark Levin. Join me at 6 this evening. Now back to the Mayor of the Morning, Harry Hurley, on WPG Talk Radio 104.1, South Jersey's talk station.
Mayor Kane is on deck. Welcome to 2018, a year of new beginnings. And you'll have full context now. Each year, on the first business day of our new year, I introduce my broad operating theme for the year. As we begin a brand new year, 2018, together, I'm calling this our Year of New Beginnings focus. Without a doubt, we are presently in a year of new beginnings, and many people don't even know it yet, but they will. There are many things happening brand new this year that we already know about. I'll give you just a partial list of them, and we're going to be adding to this. We'll have a new governor, Phil Murphy, new lieutenant governor, Sheila Oliver, new General Assembly Speaker, Craig Coughlin. Recreational marijuana will most likely be approved in New Jersey this year. Higher state taxes and user fees will most likely occur this year with Governor Chris Christie gone. We'll elect a new congressman from the 2nd District, that's for sure. After 24 years of Congressman Lobiondo, that will be taking place this year. We have a new state senator coming in the next few days from District 2. We'll most probably learn the appointment of a new state senator from District 1 this year, sometime towards the end of the year, as Senator Jeff Andrew is currently the prohibitive favorite to become congressman from the 2nd District. Frank Gilliam Jr. is the new mayor of Atlantic City. 2 new Atlantic City casinos will open. Sports betting in New Jersey should be approved later this summer by the United States Supreme Court. It's year 2 of our new president, and the new Tax Reforms and Jobs Act will go into effect all this year. Gretchen Carlson is the new chair of the Miss America Board of Directors, and 3 other former Miss Americas are now on the board of directors. In nearly 100 years of this great organization, there has never been one former Miss America on the board of directors. Now there are 4. New sheriff in Atlantic County, new sheriff in Cape May County. Kirk brought up the wage hike, the minimum wage hike that the new governor in New Jersey is looking to do to $15 per hour. There's so much by way of new beginnings that will take place this year that as of today, we have absolutely no idea what they are. Both exciting and daunting propositions, because the unknown is always scary, like working for Chuck Malamut in the old casino days. However, if you're equipped with a basic set of operating philosophies and principles, then you'll be ready to handle any new challenge that may present this year. Also, if you're not planning on changing jobs or changing personal relationships, consider rededicating your efforts to start a new beginning in these phases of your life, both personal and professional. If you don't already do so, learn to appreciate what you already have. If you rate your life in debits and credits, you already have much more richness than you may have thought. Also consider treating people with respect and kindness the way I treat Chuck. If you presently deal with any petty, stupid personal feuds, anything like that going on, typically you don't even remember where it all started in the first place because it's so dumb. Try to seek a new beginning in these instances. Life is already too short to clutter it further with meaningless negative energy and unnecessary drama. It serves no productive purpose, and it can hold you back from achieving important life goals. This doesn't mean, as I was saying to Chuck earlier, that you should just forgive and forget everything. You may be dealing with certain legitimate disagreements and grievances. These must be worked through. However, the goal should always be to eliminate any and all non-productive situations presently weighing you down in your life. If someone or something is currently dragging you down, it's time to cut it loose. It's not your job to carry an anchor around with you. If you've been spending an inordinate amount of time and effort on people that aren't worth it, make the break. Apply your precious time to those who are both worthy of and deserving of your time and efforts. Your time is a valuable commodity. Please treat it as more valuable than currency. You can always find a way to make more money. You cannot manufacture more time. You only get so much, and it can't be replenished. Once wasted, time is gone forever. Welcome to our year of new beginnings. I sincerely challenge you to become the best version of you that has ever existed. Let's start together today. I'll be back in just a few minutes. Mayor Kane standing by next. It's the Auto Plaza at English Creek radio program, and it begins right after the news break.
104.1 FM and 1450 AM WPGG Atlantic City. Everything you need to know in 6 minutes starts now.
Iran is blaming its enemies for deadly protests. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
The enemy is waiting for an opportunity, for a crack through which it can infiltrate.
That's Iran's Supreme Leader Ayatollah Khamenei reacting to a sixth day of anti-government protests. They clashed with security forces and 9 people were killed. At least 20 have died since last week. Hundreds have been arrested. A judge is threatening some face the